So we're now going to cover the advanced settings. So let's just move me down a little bit. So these are under accounting and advanced. And you've got the advanced features and you've got the advanced settings. So we're going to cover some of these settings. We're not going to cover all of them because some of these are quite complex behind the back things that you won't need to use or touch. So these three we won't be touching. But I will go through some of the other bits. Tracking categories will be in a later session, as well fixed asset settings, they'll be in a later session as well. So we'll come back to them a bit later. So I'm just going to go through in the next few videos, financial settings, chart of accounts, tax rates, and the conversion balances. So let's start with financial settings. Now, we've already seen some of this previously when we first set the company up, so a lot of it will already be done. But I just wanted to touch on it so you know where to come if you do need to change any of these. So if you change your year end, for example, you can come in here and change it here. If you change VAT, you become VAT registered or you go VAT deregistered, you can come in here. And if you deregister, you can come in and put none. That'll make sure that no VAT is accounted for at all in Xero going forward. Or if you change a scheme, then you come into here. When you become VAT registered, so when you first set it up, if you wasn't VAT registered, you'd be on none. So if you do become VAT registered, you'd come into here to set it up. As I mentioned before, you're most likely to be on one of these two schemes. And we'll go through more on that when we actually do the VAT returns, and I'll go through how those all work later in the course. But you can add in your details there. Most companies are quarterly for VAT. And then you'd put in your VAT number as well. You can change your tax defaults to show if you want your invoices to show as tax inclusive or tax exclusive or no VAT. If you're not VAT registered, I'd always put no VAT. If you, for everybody else, if you are B2B, business to business, then I'd always go for the tax inclusive. If you're business to consumer and you're talking including VAT prices to your customers. So for example, if you're a shop, you wouldn't say to your customer that just comes in off the street, oh, that's £3.61 plus VAT. You'd say it's £3.99. And I'm not saying that that is the VAT split. It's just an example. You would say the full price. So therefore, I would then also put everything as tax inclusive. Purchase wise, I would always do tax exclusive if you're VAT registered, because anything you're buying, you want to be able to see the VAT and split it out so you know what you're coming back to. So let's just put those like that, because I'm going to use examples of business to business throughout this. Construction industry. So if you are part of the construction industry, you need to use CIS. This is the settings here, and I'll go through that in more detail in the CIS section. If you are a BACS user, so you are a setup with BACS to make BACS payments and receive BACS payments and things, you'd put your ID in here. This is more for the bigger companies who are BACS set up. Us smaller companies generally don't use BACS, so you're quite free to leave that blank. Lock dates. Now, what lock dates are is it locks Xero basically, and it stops people from making any changes. So this is really important, mega important at year end, because once your year end accounts are done and filed, you don't want Xero changing for the previous year, because your accounts then won't match what's been filed going forward. So you may also want to do this. In Pink Pig, we do this with our clients at least on a quarterly basis. Quite often we, in line with doing their quarterly summaries and quarterly VAT returns, we will lock Xero so that it can't be changed once we've filed the VAT return, or once we've prepared the VAT return and we need to get that signed off by the client. And especially at year end, we do it as well. There's two options. So stop all users except advisors, so those with the advisor level. And then you've got stop all users. Generally, I would use this bottom one. So I would put this year end is the 31st of March, so I'd put it as 31st 03, because we don't want to touch anything in the prior year. I would recommend using that. This is what we do with our clients. If we are working on the accounts, but we don't want our clients to make any changes, then we would set this one so that we can still make the changes that we need to, but nobody else can. So that could be helpful if you've got a team that you're working on. You still need to work on something as the subscriber. You would be an advisor level, but you don't want your team making any more changes, so you may just use the stock or users except advisors. But yeah, entirely up to you. And again, you've got your time zone here, so just make sure that you have got the right one for your region. And that is the financial settings.